Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Harold Neidhardt. He's the CMO and co-founder of Smaato. Harold, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
You have had 2 decades experience in the marketing industry. And,
thanks for mentioning.
Yeah, well, hey, that's good. That's why we're talking to you about your experience, because you've had such a long history in marketing. And by the way, I've had about 15 years as a journalist, so I've been around for a while. But you are now moving into mobile advertising with Smaato, and you've been around in a marketing capacity in the online world, which has really grown up over the last 10, 15 years you've been around. So there's definitely some lessons, I'm sure, that you're bringing over to the mobile advertising business. So what are those? What lessons have you learned from that experience?
Well, I think first of all, you have to, if you start a company, you have to obviously follow either your dream or your gut feeling or something, mostly your passion. I think that's what was really needed. People either honor your passion, or also you can only work so much if you really are passionate for one topic. And I think that is driving most of the energy you have and you need, right? So I think one of the things you really need to know or learn, and my experience to me is that you have to innovate all the time. And it's always something new coming. Either it's an obstacle or it's some new invention or some new trend and so on. That makes you have to be kind of on your feet, being like Muhammad Ali, and dance around and just see where is it coming from, which could be good or bad, both.
Yeah.
And in some instances, you don't know if your friend turns out and that doesn't really work out anymore, and you have to change your business partnership, if you will. You're working with the VC community can be great, can be challenging in times. And on the other hand, building a team and really looking into a more global aspect or a global perspective, I think, is very important. I'm obviously not American. My Connecticut accent is a little bit showing up.
Sounded like you're from the South, but...
Yeah, thank you very much. No, I actually spent 7 years in New York and Connecticut. But I think starting a company, you have to have a global perspective, or at least a global antenna right away. I think it's encouragement for entrepreneurs from throughout the world that there's space or there's a place for your idea, but you have to bring it to the market. And most of the cases, I think Silicon Valley for all anything tech is the market. We founded our company Smaato here in San Mateo. Just opening up today our new office in Redwood Shores, moving a little bit closer to the city. Thank you, and have a European.
Rent?
Pardon?
Cheaper rent.
Cheaper rent. Well, it's a great space, and we can put more people in hiring. And we are hiring in Europe in our R&D center in Hamburg, and we're looking for 15 new people, which we can't get right now. So it's a real good time for the company. But in looking as a perspective, I think it's also that you can do certain things if you are 23, you can do certain things if you are 30, and you can do something if you are over 38, right?
But you haven't gotten there yet, so.
You tell me. No, I think if you're young, you're ambitious, you have a lot of time, you don't have families and so on, so you can really focus a lot of your work and you can bring a lot of energy. And if you're a little bit older, you can inherit or you build on your network, which is very important. I think one of the other lessons maybe I can share is which probably everybody doing the same thing. You have to build your network and you have to bring value back to your network, not only sucking stuff out, but basically bringing back. And something, for example, we do it with Smaato right now is our partners are the developers, and we created an award together with Vader TV, and want to bring some recognition and some value back to the developers and make them stand out. So I think that's playing, not only as a business partner, but also, and there will be a nice event and so on during CTIA. So you've got to network and be a partner, and that's another one. Open, right?
Give back to your partners or the community.
Yeah, exactly.
So I keep picturing this Muhammad Ali's approach to innovation and really kind of making sure that you're nimble on your feet and watch out for all the punches. And thinking back to the online marketing world where there's been, I remember back in 2000 where there was huge inflow of advertising that went online, but it was this farce. I mean, it didn't really exist. And And so that to me is sort of like a blow right there, and something that you probably learned how to, or hopefully you'll see it coming next time and you'll duck.
Yeah.
But so any experience specifically to advertising and online advertising that you're bringing to the mobile advertising world?
Well, I think in online advertising, it started, I mean, first of all, one of the innovation things was, we were creating CD-ROMs and working with Peter Gabriel, creating stuff like travel planners on CD-ROM, which was like the first thing how you can capture and distribute electronic data, right? And then I was at the TED conference in, it must be 96, 1997, and there was, I brought you a student here, Mark Andreessen, and he has a new cool thing called Mosaic, and he was clicking around in it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. It was academic text, and you click on some purple thing, and it goes to another academic text, and it was, all right. But then around the corner was Java, and they showed a little bit of Java innovation, and so you could kind of connect this a little bit, but in a way you were stuck in your old world. Hey, I was just, Apple 1.0, the QuickTime, and now it's a little bit bigger video. Yeah. So I don't need academic text. We were in the video space. So, but then basically 2 or 3 months later, we were doing the first webcast in Germany at that time, and working with stuff online. So you just have to, even though you were in a good model, you have to see, things are happening. Yeah. And then we went to the agencies and said, oh, now this is great, and we want advertising. And they said, well, we have all this TV budget, and online, what's that? And who has a modem, and so on. So you have to be persistent, and then come back, even if it's after a month, a year, or a couple of years, and say, well, now it's time. And then obviously now it's time, and Mark Andreessen is no longer a student. He's now, patron saint for a lot of new companies.
Another social networking company. Any mistakes? Any failures?
Always.
Any setbacks?
Always.
Okay, big one.
I mean, no, the thing is that you have to look at what is the right timing for ideas, and are you too early or are you too late? And it's a very tough way every day.
Were you too early with something at one point in your career?
Well, I started a company called Cartman, which was viral marketing, and we were working we're still working for a partner for cosmetic companies and sampling and so on. And that was a great time in 2000. Right? And NASDAQ was still going up, and we were collecting money and got some angel round going around. But then all of a sudden, the VC told us, you have to spend, you have to hire people, and so on. And obviously then the market pulled a whole big stop out of it. The VC was out of Europe, the company was in New York, and all of a sudden, believe too much in the money aspect of it and not really in the revenues part and sticking, I think you have to be close with your customers and not only with the VC. Make them your good friend, but stick on the market and stick on the customer, not necessarily following some advice on banking relationships.
It's funny, you learn how revenue can fund a business.
Yes.
As opposed to VC funding. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insights as an entrepreneur. I've been speaking with Harold Neidhart, who's the CMO and co-founder of Smaato. I'm Bambi Francisco.